Give yourself a chance, brother. Give yourself a chance to go out and be great. Give yourself a chance to live the life that you actually can imagine, the life that you dream about, the life that you actually see yourself living. My man Lil Wayne said, nobody gives you a chance. You've got to take chances. And I thought that bar, I thought that bar was one of the toughest bars and the most realistic, one of the more realistic bars that I've heard. Shout out to Wayne for that verse, but that one stood out. You know, if anybody listens to rap, or even if you don't, you got to know Lil Wayne, one of them ones. He's a legend. One of my favorite rappers, but that's off topic. But in the video, in the song years ago, he was like, nobody gives you a chance. You got to take chances. And that resonated because I'm like, it's true. You know, a lot of opportunities that we have in life, some are given, but at the same time, the dreams that you have, the things that you really want to see happen in your life, the position that you want to be in, those mega dreams, nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to give it to you, which means that you got to take chances. Nobody's going to give you a chance, not the type of chance that you want. You know, we may get breakthroughs and, you know, stuff like that, but at the same time, the position you want to be in, you got to earn it, man. It's an earning sport. But reality is you got to take that leap of faith. You have to take that leap of faith. And I know it's a lot of people who is just getting started on their journey, who may need a little direction, a little motivation. And for me, I consider myself that person who is here to lend that motivation to you guys, lend that inspiration to you guys, you know. And I know sometimes, you know, especially when you get started in your journey, fellas, you know, we need the motivation. We need the encouragement. I know when I first started my journey, one of the things that I would do is just, you know, try to find as much positivity, you know, look for those positive reinforcements, look for those videos, or just get around individuals who, you know, fuel my flame, encourage me to go, encourage me to do better. And the environment that I lived in, the environments that I was in before, I got the complete opposite. And so that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I know if I've lived a life where I didn't necessarily get the most encouragement, I didn't have individuals in my environment who would necessarily care or even, you know, suggest that I should do something better with my life or do something with my life or encourage me to grow as a human being, as a man, how to become a man. You feel me? And so I'm like, I know if that was me at some point in my life, I know that there's somebody traveling their journey who is, you know, looking to start the script to chapter 1 of being on that spiritual journey, of trying to do something to become a better individual, to become a person who's on his path, to become a person who wants to be a better version of themselves. And so some of us just need basic motivation, basic advice. And I just want to, you know, say to that young person, or even if you're someone who understands that concept and just need that friendly reminder, that gentle reminder, or just, you know, need something that's going to spark their flame, I'm just going to say to you, my brother or my sister, you got to give yourself a chance. You got to give yourself a chance by getting up. You got to give yourself a chance by getting out of that slump, by getting out of that rut. You got to give yourself a chance by taking the courageous path to get started, by taking the courageous path of taking a step every single day, working towards your goals, making progress every single day. And you may not know where to go and how to start, but I have a lot of videos that can give you some direction, a lot of videos. I have some experience in my life where I've shared it in those videos. If you're new to my channel, or if you just haven't watched, you know, those videos, I have a ton of videos. And I'm actually in the process of creating a playlist for you guys too. But I have a lot of videos that I believe provide useful tips, useful motivation, useful steps, useful guidance to put you on your path to greatness, man. But the reality is, it's going to take for you. It's going to take for you to take the first step. It's going to take for you to be the one brave enough to get on that path. It's going to take you to be the one to give yourself permission. It's going to take you to be the one to put yourself in position. It's going to take you to be the one to give your own self the chance to go out there and be great. You have to give yourself a chance. I'm encouraging you to give yourself a chance. Sometimes, we may lack confidence. Sometimes we may lack resources. Sometimes we may lack the ability to realize what we already have, the power that we hold within. Sometimes we may lack the ability to recognize that we don't need to have everything in order to get started. Sometimes we may lack the ability to recognize that we have a powerful gem within to get started with what we already have. We just need to go. We just need to get up and figure it out, get on that journey. It's almost like when you go walking in the park, man, and you're like on a voyage trying to find, messages under a rock that leads you down a path to obtain that ultimate goal. And while you're walking down, this is just the images in my head. While you're walking down that path, you're picking up the rocks and there's messages attached. That's just pretty much giving you a sense of direction, letting you know what's on that path. And that's personally how I go about my journey. That's how I've always seen it. I'm on a path and I may not necessarily know where this path leads me. So I'm just going to, be on a journey of discovery. Let me lift up every rock and see if there's a message attached. See if there's a message attached or a gem that I can find along this path that's just going to continue to keep leaving more clues. That's going to help me in my journey figure out where to go. So the reality is, man, when it comes to going after the things that you want. So reality is, especially when you first get started, you start not knowing what to do. You start thinking that you have to have it all figured out in order to get started. But in all actuality, it's the complete opposite. You discover, just like I just gave you guys that analogy, you discover things as you go. You go and you learn what's going on. During your journey, you figure it out and you start figuring out what goes and what stays. Which path should I take? Should I reroute? It may be frustrated to some degree, but you got to do it. This is how you learn. But you got to give yourself the grace along the way when you make mistakes, and you got to give yourself the permission to keep going and continue to figure it out as you walk through your journey. But you got to give yourself a chance to go out and be great. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable through the process. Look at that young man in the mirror and ask yourself every single day, am I giving myself a chance? Am I giving myself a chance? Realistically, am I realistically giving myself a chance, or am I giving myself excuses? Am I giving myself a chance to be great, or am I pretty much letting my dreams travel like water under the bridge? I'm watching the days go by. I'm watching myself just pretty much not be in the position that I want to be in because I'm afraid maybe fear is in your way. Maybe you're letting fear get the best of you. Maybe the individuals around you isn't necessarily fanning your flame. Maybe you don't have a lending ear or a great voice or a great mentor, to help you along your journey. In reality is many of us don't. At the very least, we don't start out by having a mentor. We don't start out by having great leaders in our ear. But that's why it's important for you to discover that. That's why it's important for you to get started. That's why it's important for you to give yourself a chance to be great. You'll figure it out. Lift up those rocks. Look at what the messages are telling you. Trust your internal compass. Trust your gut. And just keep going. You'll figure it out. And you don't have to be in the perfect position. There's no such thing as being in a perfect position. To be in the position that you want, it'll come along the way. You just got to get started. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust God if you believe. If you're a believer. Develop your belief along the way. Your confidence will come along the way, but you got to give yourself a chance, bro. And you got to take risks because nobody's going to give you a chance. Nobody's going to give you the real chance that you need to take for yourself. Like Lil Wayne said, nobody gives you a chance, but you have to take chances. You got to take chances to get the things that you want out of life, to be in the position that you want out of life, to obtain success at the magnitude of your wildest dreams, if not accomplishing that and more. If you just take a chance on yourself, bet on yourself. But you got to do it in order to get there. You got to travel that journey in order to get there, in order to see it. We have one life that we're going to live in our flesh. You know, why not? What's the worst that can happen? If you shoot for the moon, eventually you'll land among the stars. But at the same time, you got to believe in yourself that if you're aiming for the moon, you're going to land on the moon. But you got to figure it out. You got to give yourself that opportunity to get there and travel that journey. Nobody's going to be the one that could do it for you, my friend. Nobody's going to be the one that can get you there, my friend. You have to be the one to do it. You got to put yourself in position. And I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to get started if you haven't already. I encourage you to keep going if you've taken some time off. I encourage you to pick that idea back up if you've taken some time off. I encourage you to give yourself a chance to go out there and be great. Strive for greatness. Dream Driver's Legacy. I appreciate all the support that we get. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Lock in if you guys haven't already. Support the channel. It's a positive movement. It's a positive vibe community. And I can't do it without you guys. But as always, do what brings life to you. Please don't let those words go over your head. Do what brings life to you. And it's a great chance that you'll bring life to whatever it is that you do. You already know. Rain, sleet, or snow. The goal is to always grow. Peace and blessings. One love. Strength.